Hey, my name is Philip, and this happened when I was 12 years old. Me and my mother got to a bar that was next to a hospital to meet my uncle. My cousin was with him. My cousin was at the time 13 years, and his name was James. He was my best friend. Time passed and it got dark, and me and my cousin started playing around the bar. After a little bit of time, we saw a man in the middle of his 40s, dressed in an old dirty black suit. He was just standing there, looking at us. I got freaked out, and we ran back to our parents. Then me and my cousin implored our parents to let us do a sleepover at James' house. My uncle accepted, and after my uncle talked to my mother, she accepted too. We were so excited because we wanted to stay up late and tell horror stories while eating sweets. We got to James' house, but James' uncle had to go buy some food from McDonald's for us. It was 1 a.m., and we started telling horror stories. After the first horror story that my cousin told, I got freaked out, and we started playing games on his phone. After 10 minutes, we heard a loud noise that was coming from the kitchen. The window from the kitchen was destroyed. Someone broke that window with a stone. We got to the kitchen, and what I saw is still giving me nightmares. It was the man that was watching us near the hospital. He was in the kitchen with a large kitchen knife, just looking at us. Now I saw his face. He was dirty and had 2 scars on his face. He had his eyes wide open and he was smiling, but at the same time he was looking nervous. He looked insane. After 10 seconds, the man said something that gave me the chills. "Do you want to feel my knife?" At that moment, I was frozen in fear. Then James said, "No." Then the man got James and stabbed him in the stomach. He fell on the floor. Then the man asked me the question, "Do you want to feel my knife?" He approached me, and then because of the blood that was bleeding from James, and because of the fear, I vomited on the man. And after a couple of seconds as he was cleaning his costume, he screamed at the top of his lungs. And then my uncle got in the house and stabbed the guy with the car keys. And then he punched the man very hard in his face, and he passed out. Then he saw James and started crying. I was crying and shaking. My uncle called the police, the ambulance, and my mom. My cousin survived, and my uncle and my mom increased the security in their houses. From that day, my mother didn't let me go to other sleepovers. Neither did my dad. According to police, the man had escaped from an insane asylum. He got in the asylum because he had mutilated his wife and killed her. When the body was found, the woman had a long knife deep in her stomach, and the man was looking at her. The police were called because the neighbors heard the woman and the man screaming. Now I'm 23 years old, and I'm still thinking what would have happened if I hadn't vomited at that time, and if my uncle didn't enter the house in that moment.